Take my diamonds, take my trauma.
Take my
You
diamonds.
will do well.
That's the name of your next book. Take my diamonds, take my trauma. It's a process.
One hell of a process.
Yeah.
Cancelled to Crowned with Sohini was born with the belief that what tries to cancel us can also shape us. And sharing our scars with someone else can be a pathway to their crown. Here, we don't just talk about being cancelled internally or cancelled externally. We talk about what it takes to rise, rewire, and reclaim our lives in our own hands with our own power. We welcome you to be a part of this ever evolving journey. Our guest today joins us as someone who's always chosen authenticity over conformity. He walks his own path, questions the obvious, and isn't afraid to live life fully on his own terms. Welcoming the ever curious, ever grounded Abhay Deol. Hi, Abhay.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming to Cancel to Crowned
Oh, thank you.
and agreeing to speak to us. It really means so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Abhay Deol, you come from one of the industry's most powerful families, and you have chosen a path different, not just from your family, but from the industry on the whole.
Yeah.
And it's been a personal choice. What drove you to not conform?
Well, many things. I guess one, let's address being born in the family or in an industry, right? So that gave me insight at a very young age as to what fame is and how it affects a unit, a community, a family, an individual. You could see the advantages and the disadvantages.
Yeah.
So through my family's own experience, and I was very sensitive as a kid, I learned that it's a kind of a toxic place. It's a dangerous place, especially for the individual. You almost need protection here.
Okay.
For me, when people see you have privilege being from the industry, that's one of the biggest privileges: information, not necessarily contacts, information and experience.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that fed into my worldview and started to shape my individuality. Then, of course, growing up, and again, being from a film family, my brother, my taya, all of them would travel the world, come back and get movies from all over the world. So I grew up watching cinema from all parts of the globe. So at a very young age, I was exposed to different way of storytelling. And then I was like, well, why do we have to have one formula? And I was asked this question at 10 and 11 years of age.
Wow.
Why can't we have a different approach? Why does everything have to be musical? So that's had to shape my own tastes. And then as I grew older, I started to believe, well, I think as an Indian, I'm capable of expressing myself in non-traditional ways too. I think it's part of our tradition to be tolerant. And I think it's part of our tradition to express in so many ways.
Yeah.
So why are we narrowing it down to this one formula? And so I think that just started, those were things I just wore them on my sleeve. I would push them wherever I could, whether someone wanted to listen to it or not. It's just I kept pursuing it and kept pursuing it and kept pursuing it until either people resigned and just accepted me for who I am or gave up and said, you're arrogant, go away.
You have worn it so beautifully that not only have you owned the identity, it's also become mainstream today.
Yeah.
Right? So perseverance plays a very important role in achieving what we're after. But I'd like to ask you, you said the place is dangerous based on the information that you received as a child.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on that?
When I say dangerous, I've seen people come in from various backgrounds with hopes and dreams. You see, we're an industry that worships heroic characters. We express idealism. We show empathy and compassion. We stand up for the downtrodden, the weak, and the marginalized. But in reality, uh, a lot of the times that's just what we portray, and behind the scenes, that's not what we may be. And so people coming in expecting in real life what they see on screen are highly disappointed. So a lot of times their dreams are shattered or their illusion is shattered. That can lead to a lot of disenfranchisement, giving up, perhaps, feeling depressed. Then if you're just, if those ideals have made you run away from home, because a lot of people do sometimes.
Yeah.
And then they have nowhere to go and they don't have a support system. Now, when they have no support system, where do they go? They're vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because there isn't infrastructure in place. And as a society, we're conservative as well. So it's not even like we look upon with empathy to those who've perhaps spurned their family or their community for their dreams. It's looked upon as disrespect, and they may not be accepted back in when they don't find that opportunity in an industry, which also, again, has hundreds of thousands of people come in with dreams.
Right.
And not everybody's going to get accepted or find opportunity. There's a lot of sacrifice. And when I say sacrifice, I don't just mean from outsiders, but even insiders have to sacrifice. There's a lot of sacrifice that you don't see. And I'm not taking the side of people who are from the industry, neither am I taking the side of those who are from outside of the industry. I'm speaking for all of us as humanity, that sacrifices are made on both ends. And if you don't have a support system, and that's where if you're from the industry, at least you may have that.
Right.
But if you're from outside, you won't even have that.
Yeah.
And even if you have that within the industry, I say dangerous because you could have a mental health issue. And sometimes you can't live up to your family's own success. And that weighs you down and can cause depression.
Yes.
And you feel like you have to deliver. There's an expectation of you more than there is from someone from the outside.
Yeah.
And then there's that pressure. So when I say danger, it's in the space of mental health. I don't mean that there's a mafia that'll come and kill you. I don't mean physical harm of that nature.
Yeah.
But physical harm can come to you in any industry.
Absolutely.
Right? In any situation.
Yeah.
And if you're coming from, let's say, outside of the city into the city, and you don't have a support system, you could put yourself in danger, physical harm, by not being safe in the environment you're living.
Or being able to afford rent in a city like Mumbai.
Exactly. So that's what I mean by danger. So there's many things. This is a little elaborate on what you asked.
Thank you for sharing that. Have you ever experienced a mental health issue through your process?
I think we all do, no? I don't think anybody on this planet does not today.
Yeah.
Because the way we are structured as human society, we don't live natural lives anymore. We don't live in green spaces. We live in concrete jungles. In the West, it's all about the individual, so they don't have community to support them.
Yeah.
In the East, it's all about community, so they don't have a space for the individuality to form. So some form of mental health issues will come up for everyone. There's a bigger divide between rich and poor. Technology is highlighting physical appearance, money, wealth, influence as the end all. So when you're a young mind growing up in this environment, you believe what you're being fed.
Yeah.
Advertising as an industry wouldn't exist if people couldn't be conditioned to believe.
Yeah, that is
something.
True. That is true.
So everybody has some form of mental health problems.
When I hit rock bottom and I feel like, that's it, I can't deal with my mind or I'm spiraling, overthinking, fearful, I found that two things really work for me. One is therapy and the other is productivity. I set goals, however unrealistic they seem to me.
Yeah.
It immediately focuses me, gives me a pathway. And while I'm doing that, I'm also dealing with my emotions and processing them by being handheld. How do you cope?
Handheld by
a therapist, yes.
As a therapist.
Yes, yes.
Similar to you, I don't necessarily have a therapist, but I will go online and I will listen to talks and lectures, zoom in on people who I relate to, who appeal to me. Then I'll go to their websites and maybe do a course here and there. And that's how I get my information in the therapeutic sense. I don't deal with a person as such.
Okay.
And then I'm very fortunate that, and this is addressing what you do as a second part, which is you have purpose.
Yeah.
If you don't have purpose, and that's a biggest reason why most people, I would say all people, get mental health issues or diseases, because people don't have purpose. This society is structured to deliver to, corporate interests, product. It's geared towards selling.
Yes.
It's not geared towards discovering oneself. Education is not provided to you to discover who you are. It is what you can give to society. And whilst purpose is about giving to society, but not at the cost of your own health.
Yeah.
So we don't have that information, and I'm lucky that I love what I do. And so my sense of purpose is fulfilled in many ways. Acting, filmmaking, storytelling. And that's another thing that a lot of people, it's a creative industry. Not everybody has the talent to act. They might have a talent for something else, but they're so stuck on acting.
Yes.
That they don't actually go to that place where their purpose would be fulfilled, because we're all here for some purpose, each and every one of us.
Absolutely.
But we sometimes swayed to do this because we're attracted, because that is so attractive a package to look at, like filmmaking or something.
Yes.
But you may not be a filmmaker.
Yeah.
You may be a storyteller of a different sort.
Yes.
You may be a storyteller by being a teacher.
Absolutely.
And that may be your purpose.
Absolutely.
So if you don't have purpose, then that is another thing you need to discover, or else you're going to definitely lose mental health.
What is your larger purpose?
It's a very broad question. I tried to change the narrative because I wanted to address my culture from different perspectives. So what was the purpose in that? I guess for us to see that we are an extremely diverse community, and so we should embrace our diversity, which is what India is based on.
Right, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so, I mean, my purpose is to just be the best make the best of my abilities. Like, my purpose is to find what my talents are and then try and expand on them as much as I can. And whether that talent be carpentry or acting.
Yes.
My purpose is in discovering what it is that appeals to me, that I love doing, and do more of it.
And that's such a holistic feeling, right? Because only when you're full can you completely show up for someone else.
Oh yeah, you
Something
can't
else.
show up for anyone if you can't love anybody until you love yourself. If people think, oh, that's arrogant or self-obsessed, like, no, if you don't have respect for yourself, how are you going to give another any respect?
Yeah. I discovered self-love when I hit rock bottom.
It takes that sometimes.
It's so basic. Yeah.
Yeah. We wait for disease to hit before we choose to do something about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I hit rock bottom and I had nowhere to go.
Oh, wow.
My friends left me.
Really?
My family broke. I lost my mom.
Mom disowned you?
I lost her to cancer.
Oh, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yes. So I lost her and suddenly I'm standing at this,
Wow, in the middle of all this, your mom passed away.
and she suffered.
Oh, the poor thing. So she must have suffered on your account for you. Is that, sorry.
Oh God.
I'm sorry.
That's a weight I'll be carrying.
That's what she meant.
No, she suffered through cancer. At the-
I misunderstood.
Yeah, no.
That's not what I meant. More burden on you.
So I reached that point and I was like, okay, now what do I do? Because suddenly I have very few people to turn to. I don't have my mom to turn to. My dad's grieving, my brother's grieving.
Yeah.
And the only person who was left standing was me. And I said, oh, here you are. And that moment for me changed my entire life's view, my own perspective.
Yeah.
And it's just made me a better person, happier, more whole.
Well, you're very fortunate. What happened to you happened to you.
Yes.
Because you dropped friends who weren't really your friends in any case. Had this not happened to you, you'd have carried on living a lie.
Absolutely. And not discovered myself. Right?
So that whatever that thing that happened to you was actually your blessing. And this is what a lot of people fail to see, is when something bad happens to them,
Yes.
they think it's bad. But if you look and see what is it trying to show me, then you realize that very thing is what you needed. So it wasn't bad as much as it was
Painful.
good.
Good also.
Had you, like you said, sometimes you have that the disease hits you for you to do something about it.
Yes. Yes.
So you might have lived a lie all your life, because if your friends left you for whatever reason they left you,
Yeah.
they were never your friends to begin with.
Absolutely.
So if that thing never happened to you, you would have continued with those friends, right? Thinking they're your friends.
Yes. Yes. And
But
stayed
never
in that mold.
changed.
Well said. Contained. Absolutely. So you are someone who carries self-love on your sleeve. It shows.
Okay.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. When did you discover yourself? Do you have a story to share with us?
I still am wondering if I do love the self. I'm constantly discovering. I would say that because I confronted people a lot, I came into the industry, I had to fight for my space. I had to fight for my individuality. And whilst a lot of good came out of that fighting, because I managed to make the films I managed to, I don't think I would have made them had I not been such a fighter.
Yeah.
But that sales fight also isolated me, because, a fight is still a very passionate, negative space to be in. And so even if you're fighting for the right causes, that can consume you.
Absolutely.
And you can also be judged a certain way. You also become a fighter. And everything that a fighter you imagine would be, So I think that made me take a step back and say, all right, I know I stood up for the right things, but where am I going wrong? Because I can't deliver, but then have that delivery cost me my mental health, my physical health. Because it is costing me. I'm getting what I want, but at the cost of a great deal. And so that made me stop, reflect. And so I would say self-love came when I accepted that it was a double-edged sword. The very thing that got me where I am also took everything away from me.
Yes. Yes. But
And if someone understands that, they will come around and they'll work with you. And if no one understands that and nobody works with you, well, at least you have your self-value.
Yeah. See, there you go. There you go.
So it's a constant process.
It is.
But I still have very typical actor insecurities, very superficial self-hating things. I do still.
May I ask what they are?
I mean, I also have insecurities, my looks, physicality, all of that. It's an environment I grew up in, especially growing up in the film industry. You're so focused on your looks.
Yeah.
Because it's so sold on your looks. So unless I'm perfect, I'm not worthy. A lot of it is that a lot of people come in and experience that. Now they come in groomed because knowledge also enables people to have more information. But it is so much about the look. And when you said earlier, at least today people are doing what you did, whatever back then, I'm like, to a certain extent, sure. Yes, at least there is an acceptance. Yeah, we need to address this. We need to change. We need to give more ideas. But that doesn't mean we're anywhere close to the capacity and capability of what Indian culture can give. We haven't even scratched the surface of who we are as a culture and our creative expression. We're nowhere close. We still hate the West.
I would agree with
even with our non-conformist ideas, they still derive from the West. It's not a homegrown rebellion.
Yeah.
It's not a homegrown aesthetic. It's a foreign aesthetic borrowed and then brought into our country. Now, when we start talking about that is real change. So what I was saying 20 years ago, perhaps they're doing now. But what I'm going to talk about now is going to take another 20 years.
What are you going to talk about?
I mean, stuff like this.
Yeah.
Homegrown aesthetic. What is a homegrown aesthetic? Do you know what that means? That's a question to ask people.
That comes with knowing who we are. Further down to who am I?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that takes you to self-awareness.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Do you still feel this need to show up perfectly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got makeup on right now.
I do too. A psychologist sitting with makeup.
No, there's anything wrong in it. I think it's inherently around the public thinking, you're insecure with makeup, and that's not true.
No, that.
But just to answer your question, you do put in an effort to be presentable, and that could come from insecurity, but that could also come from self-love.
Yeah, and my insecurity is my speech. I used
Your
to stammer.
speech?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I used to stammer so much.
Hmm.
Um, but now I tell my team, don't cut the stammer out. Leave it.
Yeah, it's good.
Because I don't want the stammer to control me anymore.
Amazing.
I'd rather stammer and accept it
Yeah.
than be controlled by the stammer and think, oh, I'm going to stammer tomorrow. I'm going to stammer now. I should not use this alphabet. I should use that. And then not do my job well
Yeah.
because I'm thinking how to perform.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
low self-awareness. Good on you. Me. You're a psychiatrist, right?
Psychologist.
Psychologist. So there you go. That explains it.
Yeah, but it's taken a lot of work. And I'm still so scared sometimes if I have to show up and talk to too many people, if I have to express my emotions.
But is it true that the nervous system in a state of anxiety and the nervous system in a state of excitement is one and the same?
It is.
So then could your nervousness just be excitement, but you're interpreting it as anxiety?
Sometimes
If it's the same, huh?
Sometimes it is fear. Sometimes it is fear.
But fear to a limit, isn't that a good thing? Doesn't that strive you to overcome and be better?
Of course. Everything, jealousy, fear, anger, all of these are our reins.
Yeah.
They rein us.
Yeah.
They help us stay in control.
Yeah.
They are arrows to what we need to work towards. They are our boundaries. They help us love ourselves more. They tell us what we're feeling, what we need. So they're all important.
Yeah.
Too much of it is not healthy, including self-love. It'll make you a narcissist.
Yeah.
So we need those boundaries.
Yeah.
But I do find that fear does play a role a lot of times in terms of the fear of failure, fear of success even.
I had fear of success.
Even I had fear of success.
Still do, I think.
Tell me more about your fear of success.
I think looking at fame up front as a kid and then reading stuff about your family in the papers and then being asked questions. And then, of course, seeing people coming from outside and seeing them change. Yeah, I think I loved acting, but I didn't want the intrusiveness that came with it. I think there was a lot of that. There is that fear. I think also fear of success has to do with not just your experiences and having insight into an industry, but maybe overshadowing people perhaps or going beyond your role, you know.
And what will happen if you overshadow someone just because you are who you are and you're owning it?
That's just, I suppose, trauma of kind. And it could be your very own, you know.
Yeah.
And it's obviously untrue, but you have to arrive there.
Yeah. It takes a lot of work to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We tend to shrink ourselves, because we're taught. We're taught, be kind, be good, don't be selfish. So we're taught to shrink ourselves at a very, very early age.
Yeah.
It's okay if he shouted at you. You be nice.
Yeah.
That's what you say to a little boy or a little girl.
Yeah.
Don't hit. That's bad behavior.
Yeah.
We learn that very, very early, and no one talks about that fear.
Yeah.
But
All our traumas stem from childhood experiences. And even your parents suffered their own trauma as they were kids. So they just pass them on to you. Yeah. And then you pass yours on to your own. Yeah. So that's, Hinduism calls it ancestral karma.
Yeah. I call that the generational heirloom of trauma in my book.
No, all of us have it.
It's an heirloom. Take my diamonds, take my trauma.
Take my diamonds.
You will do well.
That's the name of your next book. Take my diamonds, take my trauma.
I don't want to give my trauma to anyone. I'd rather just work on it.
There you go.
So, talking about self-identity, it comes with a big price. It also comes with gifts. What have you paid for it and what have you received?
What have I paid? What have I received? I suppose I don't play the game as much in my industry. I'm not really out there. You do sacrifice the level of success, I suppose, because you're not conforming. You have such a strong identity. You don't listen. So, people don't like that.
Do you like that?
I mean, that's just who I am. So you could be perceived as being difficult. And maybe you are. Like I definitely was because I'm not conforming to that. So I think you pay a price in terms of the level of success you can reach. As I said, I was shy of fame. So I was run from PR, which became such a huge integral part of my industry. Yeah. And here I'm saying, no, I think that's a cheap thing to do. I don't so much adhere to any particular thing. Now I don't do anything in extreme, everything in balance. But I was in one extreme. I said no PR whatsoever for me as an individual. The film should sell itself. So I think you ended up sacrificing the level of success one could have gotten. But what have I gained? Freedom. I'm not bogged down to the star system. Also having that insight into how much sacrifice you have to make to maintain your stardom and how it impacts you every moment of your life and how the image just takes over. And that you get so restricted in who you are, who you speak to, where you can go, how you can be seen, where can you be seen. I don't have those issues. I can do what I want, go what I want, say what I want.
That's freedom in the truest sense.
Yeah.
I would hear a lot. How can you get so angry? You're a psychologist. I'm like, I'm a psychologist who loves the camera. I'm a psychologist who wears makeup. I'm a psychologist who loves to shop. I'm a psychologist who also loves to work on herself, and so be it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that freedom is just something else.
Yeah.
So amazing. This sacrifice that you made or you make, I don't know if I'm using the right term, but I'm going to say it anyways. Would you call that? See, you're abandoning something when you're sacrificing. You're also gaining freedom. So I'm not sure I can call it self-abandonment. But I'm sure you're also abandoning a part of yourself because you're curbing your own potential and you're shying away from the fame that you could get.
I suppose if you just narrow in on the word sacrifice and just focus it on that word and the connotations of it. But if the sacrifice has led you to freedom, then that abandonment is also gone, no?
Yeah.
Then, but there will be that phase of abandonment, right?
Yes.
You would have abandoned yourself at the moment you made that sacrifice.
Yes.
Because you wouldn't have also seen the benefits of it, right? At that moment, you might just think, dikha diya maine, suna diya maine. Chal, at least I'm true to myself, arrogantly so. But not realizing that that's just the ego speaking. And as the dust settles, if you're still able to then see that, oh, okay, what did I actually gain from it? I can either focus on the loss of the films that I could have done, or I can focus on where I am today and if I'm mentally sound and if I'm safe. And this will lead me somewhere. It's not like I'm dead right now. So the road the path has been laid.
Yes.
And then the world will respond. Those who have to respond will respond. I guess it just builds time and patience.
So it's never that absolute.
Yeah, and nothing is absolute.
Yeah.
Everything is constantly in process.
As are we.
Yeah. We're human beings.
Correct.
We're not a human become.
Correct.
Bin.
Dead.
Human bin. It's human beings. It's a process. Yeah.
We are being beautiful. I'm going to take that back. I don't know why I never thought about it.
It's the first thing that I've always thought of. Being is being. It's a process.
Yeah, I say I'm evolving. I'm a work in progress, but I'm human being.
You're being.
Simply said,
human.
being. Yeah. Lovely. Yeah. You've also chosen to do this podcast, the Durex podcast, where you talk about sex and the stigma around it.
Yeah.
Again, a non-conformist choice in a country like ours. What drove you to choose to do it?
Well, when the brand approached me, first of all, I saw their intention. They really looking for clickbait, easy fixes, selling their product. They were already a mass-selling product.
Right.
I could see that there, and it's not a brand sell. You asked a question, and
yes,
and I focused on them, and I could see that. Oh, you genuinely want to spread awareness. You genuinely want to.
Yeah, I genuinely do want to work against the stigma around sex.
I could
pleasure.
sense that from them.
Yes.
Like, we don't need to make more sales, but we would like to contribute to society. So that was the first thing. Like, the intention was clean. And then, obviously, I'm aware, we're a very conservative, and as most conservative communities go, sexually frustrated, nation, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you can see that in our cinema and our advertising, and it's not just India, it's most conservative countries, and even in America for that matter. Sex is used to sell everything.
Yeah.
But at least look in the US where they'll still celebrate sex and be, to some extent, more open than us, we tend to still be prudish about it. And we're like, but like I can sit through English films and not cringe at the sexuality being displayed, but I can sit through a Hindi film and watch an item number with gyrating crotches and chests and be very like cringy. I'm like, why are we so in your face about sex and sexuality? I'd rather see a naked woman than see a thrusted boobs and shake them in my face.
Yeah, yeah.
That is the human body in itself is not vulgar.
Yeah. And that is natural.
That is natural. And I'm like, where did we get lost, so to speak? So I felt like these are things we could now, in this setup of talking about sex and sexuality, discuss these things. So when I had Dibakar and Konkona, we could talk about sex in cinema and narrative. When I had Devdutt Patnaik and I had, we talked about it, the mythology and literature and sex and hearts portrayed. When I had Rani Kohinoor and Prince Manvendra was in the LGBTQ space and that experience of sex and sexuality and identity. So it was so vast. And these were things that we just not taught.
Yeah.
We're not comfortable in talking. All we are good is in packaging sex and sexuality and selling a product. That's the only level of sex talk we have.
Yeah.
But we don't actually
Not
talk
the human
about,
experience of sex.
not about desire, identity, culture, environment.
Yeah.
And India is a culture that's thousands of years old. So we've gone from everywhere to being extremely free and progressive on our views on sex, sexuality, and gender, to being extremely conservative, because the British were extremely conservative and put their Victorian values on us, which is what we're still coming out of right now, is Victorian values of sex and sexuality.
Yes, we are, for sure.
That's where we start at.
We have to be so proper.
It's not just proper, it's just regressive views of women, which came from Victorian values.
Yes.
The toxic masculinity. That's also very Victorian that we have. Because Asian males are perceived as very feminine by the British. We use our hands, we have colors, we put makeup, we wear jewelry. So to them, that was very feminine. That's not a macho man. So our portrayal of macho men today is a Western concept. And we don't even realize that.
Yeah.
Because Eastern cultures were refined, they were older. So,
Maharajas were in jewelry and
we wore jewelry and we believe in 3 different genders. There was male, female, and the other.
Yes.
All of this was already there. We had Japanese had geishas, we had the wives. There were women who and men who carried literature, culture. Sex was just one part of their subject. The British said, these are prostitutes. Because, of course, the wives also funded a lot of the 1857 mutiny.
Yes.
So they had to make them into prostitutes. And now we have a black and white view of gender, sexuality, prostitution. That is our Victorian heritage.
Also, when I say proper, I mean, as women, we're taught to be proper.
Yeah.
Sex is sin.
Yeah. That's a very Christian point of view, sex is.
I was taught.
Yeah.
Sex is sin. Good girls don't have sex.
Yeah.
It's shameful to have desire.
Yeah.
Pleasure is bad.
Yeah.
Chief girls meet boys.
Yeah.
And it was so ingrained in me that when I realized this in my adulthood, I had to work towards breaking out of my own shame attached to sex.
Yeah.
Be proper, sit proper, don't flirt, don't do this, don't smile, he's going to think you're cheap, hold on to your reputation until cancel happened. And then I was like, forget it.
I think
I will own myself.
Yeah, if you, again, like, the conservatism of English values in women, I think the women here, Asian women, were a lot freer, a lot wilder, I suppose. Which is probably why they thought we were not cultured in many ways, I suppose.
I guess so. I don't know. Wild and free.
I would obviously we had our own conservatism. The Mughals had their own conservatism, but nothing matched the Victorian values. Even the Mughals did not. And then pre-Mughals, of course, there was many waves. There was points where Hinduism was ruling. There were points where Buddhism also conservative views on sex and sexuality. So it's not just one. I speak of Victorian because that was the last influence we had. And there was 200 years and they completely uprooted our education system. At least when the Mughals ruled us or when Hinduism ruled us, or when Buddhism ruled us, there was still diversity. There was still people, because there was no India as such.
Yeah.
There were kingdoms spread out, tribals spread out. So there was no one view that people followed. They could have their own individual cultures. The British just put everything under one, and made everything homogenized. So that diversity went up with them. That's why I speak of them. Not to say that we indigenously, they don't have spurts of conservatism. But at the same time, like whilst the Kama Sutra was being written, or the temples and sex are being built, there might have been a society that was conservative too.
Yes.
But they didn't interfere with one another.
Right. Yeah. There's nothing that's fully absolute. Again, we go back to that. Everything exists.
Everything did. And then once India became one country under the British rule, we all had to follow the same rule.
Do you think it's changing?
I don't know. Honestly, I think not just India, but I think the world over, people are getting more polarized. I guess there's a lot of turmoil in the world. As we speak, an entire population is being starved by one country, like in Gaza. So we're just polarized.
There is some transition occurring.
For sure. I think the muck is coming to the surface because we can't sustain the violence that we project on into each other. It's not a sustainable model now anymore because there's 8 billion people on this planet.
Yeah.
It's do or die moment now.
Yeah. That is true. Rock bottom.
Humanity's rock bottom.
Yeah.
Humanity's definitely at rock bottom, as we spoke of as individuals. And then we can overcome.
Yeah.
But then also the collective has to overcome. And I don't see that happening. So whether it's divides that people fight over in India or divides that people fight over in the US or Europe, it's happening on a very large scale right now.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like the only way to, for the collective to transform is through individual work.
Oh, yeah. So like what you do, for example, and where you've come to with your experiences and how you choose to be here and talk to good, you're calling guests, you're speaking about openly about your issues. That goes a long way. You're using your strength to the best possibility. And it's not small what you do. This will have other repercussions.
Thank you for sharing that.
No, for sure. Yeah. And you only came here after you went through your own sort of rock bottom and dark night of the soul, as they call it. Not to say that you've evolved today. You'll constantly evolving.
Yes.
But people like yourself have to have more and more people like you so that it can spread more and more and more to others, in your community, in your site.
I hope it does.
Of course, it is already. Yeah, more than you realize it.
Thank you. Let's go back to your podcast.
I thought this was the podcast.
Your podcast.
Oh, my podcast.
Yes.
Okay, say.
Have you ever had an uncomfortable conversation on your podcast?
When I had Neha and Prajakta, we were talking about female pleasure. And that was probably the most uncomfortable for me because there was context for the others. With the filmmakers, it was filmmaking. With the writers, it was about literature and representation. But with them, it was purely about the female body and female pleasure. And I was worried for them as to if people would judge them and give them hate for being open about the female body and their experiences. And if people would also be harsh on me. Or if I was rude in any way, I got to be very careful, because I don't want to make them vulnerable. It was more to save them. So I felt really uncomfortable. And I found it very interesting because I never felt that discomfort until I had to worry about my guests' safety.
So you were holding space for them.
Yeah. And they were also being very vulnerable, hoping that they would not be gaslit or hated for being honest. That was probably the one that I found most uncomfortable. Luckily, it went okay though.
Okay.
Luckily, it went fine. He didn't get any hate. Obviously, a lot of women saw that and felt, thank you for speaking about this. Even with Kalki and Veer Das, it was not so uncomfortable because it was sex pre and post marriage, couples and all of that. And Kalki spoke about having a rip in her vagina when she gave birth. And a lot of people commonly says, thank you for speaking of that. People don't speak of that. These issues happen. But when it came to just female pleasure, I was so scared that I hope I haven't put them in a vulnerable position. But a lot of women appreciated that. A lot of men also were like, oh, okay, this is good to learn.
Yes.
Because they need that point of view. Men who stop women from expressing themselves take away their opportunity to understand women better and be better lovers themselves.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know?
So that is so brilliant. You provided the safe space for them to share.
Yeah.
Your intention protected the whole unit from any form of hate. Is it intention everything? Like,
Yeah, it all comes from intention.
yes,
It all
that's
comes.
the energy that comes through.
Yeah.
And you're also doing the work
Yeah.
of working against the stigma and the shame attached to something that even a little child feels.
Yeah.
And we're shamed for it.
Yeah.
Do you think that the episode was so uncomfortable because of the shame attached?
Well, for sure, you don't want them to be shamed for speaking of their bodies and the processes of their minds and emotions. Because we are taught that, oh, as you said, you should not do this, you should not do that, you should not think like this, you should not think like that. That's evil, that's sinful. When actually none of that was true. All of that was there to manipulate you.
Yeah. To conform you.
To manipulate you. Most religions are there to manipulate the population. Why was sex called a sin in Christianity? So that you wouldn't confess to the priest. Now they know everything about you. And if I can control your sexuality, I can control you. But can say, oh, this is sinful. Now you need me to get into heaven. Now you're my slave, right?
And you can control me through sex because it's so basic, it's so primal.
It's primal. We all feel it.
Yeah.
We all want it.
Yeah.
We all want to express it.
Yeah.
But it's deemed a sin. And if I express it, feel it, then I won't be allowed in this heaven. I'm too innocent to realize there may not be such a thing as heaven or hell. When I've been conditioned from childhood to believe that. So my worldview is heaven and hell, right? And now he's the gatekeeper. And so sex was made into a sin because that was the easiest form of control. It happens even today.
Yeah, it does.
Sex is always used to control.
Yeah. It still is in terms of genders. Men are called studs and women are called sluts.
For a man, you sleep around, you're a stud. If for a woman, you sleep around, you're a slut.
That is also manipulation.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
You know? I'm like, wow, she slept around. She's very experienced. Might be a better lover than a virgin. But you can't say that. It's like, but it's obvious. Like, an experienced one is far better than an inexperienced one, yeah? But she's a woman, so she's damaged goods. That's disgusting. But you're a man, so you're a stud. He gets that benefit. He's got experience. But what about the woman with experience?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Though I feel like it is evolving a little bit.
Yeah, I don't need to say sleep around. Yeah. That's not the point.
I get it. I get your point.
You know?
You're giving people...
Anyone who sleeps around, whether male or female, will be depleted to some level because they may not be being truthful. They might be sleeping out of shame.
Yeah.
That very thing that shamed you to not sleep around makes you sleep around.
Yes.
You know, so whether you're a man or a woman and you're sleeping around, maybe you're both sluts. You know?
Sex is also used... Sex is a form of connection.
Sure, it can be.
Yes. It's also used as a form of avoidance.
Yeah, also can be.
है ना?
Yeah. When we're not taught about sex and sexuality, how are we supposed to understand what's going on with us?
Correct.
Not. So then we're open to be manipulated.
Yeah. But it again goes back to we're not taught to connect with ourselves only.
Yeah.
That's step one.
Yeah.
Then we can move on to sex and anger and desire and needs and all of that. Because our most basic need is taken away from us. We're ashamed to even love ourselves or connect to ourselves or accept that I come from a vegetarian home, I like chicken. And don't eat the chicken, it's fine. But at least accept that this is what I genuinely, truly feel. We're ashamed to even think it or feel it.
Yeah. It's fear, no? People fear the liberated person because that person can't be controlled. And they might break the system down.
Yeah.
So they're a danger.
And if then that person breaks the system down, then you are forced to look within. Why did you create the system? And you're like, oops, I don't want to look at this guy.
Yeah.
I've
It's
tried
okay to look at yourself.
Yeah.
You'd rather be supported by a system that propagates falsehood just so you can be comfortable.
So safe.
None of that makes you safe.
So let's move from sex to love. What, according to you, is love?
I suppose, as you were saying earlier, connection, a space where you can feel safe and secure.
And what, according to you, is safety?
Being yourself, being vulnerable, being honest, being able to express who you are, question, being open.
We'll go back to love, but you carry masculinity with so much grace.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Okay. Thank you.
I saw it. You are able to be vulnerable. You're able to talk about sex. You're able to talk about the Maharajas wearing jewelry, and you're okay with it. And you're able to talk about female pleasure and all of that. And yet, you are masculine. I want to know, one, where does this balance come from? And two, what, according to you, is being a man?
I don't really I don't have definitions for such things. Maybe that's what helps. Because I'm not going in with, oh, it has to be particularly this way. I'm also searching, no? And if I'm reading up, I'm researching, I'm going online, I'm discovering, I'm finding information, I'm rechecking that information. I've been letting what's coming through me speak to me. And it's not to say that I don't have vulnerabilities or faults or anything. I do. I'm just discovering, and I'm able to express the many things I have discovered. And I'm able to also accept the many things I haven't discovered. They both exist.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're able to express this, I want to know where that has come from. If you could remember a moment where you said, I'm not going to conform. I am going to be fluid in the way I think, as I choose to be fluid in the way I think, because I don't know if I'll be the same person tomorrow as I was yesterday.
Yeah.
And I know where that moment began for me.
Okay.
So I'm asking you, if you have a moment in mind where you said, you can't put me in a box, I'm not going to conform, because I'm not just that.
I don't know, honestly, because as far back as I can remember, I've always had conflict with who I am in my environment. So even from as a childhood, there's always conflict as to who. Because I always question why. My family will tell you that I should have been a lawyer because I kept arguing. I kept questioning. I just wouldn't listen. So I don't know when this happened because it was always there. Yeah.
Your whys need a logical answers, or they need feeling-based answers?
I don't know. Like I say, I'm very analytical and intellectual and all of those things. But I know that I'm aware that it needs to go beyond intellect and into feeling. So again, I don't even know where I am. I would say that I'm analytical and intellectual. Some people might say, no, he says that, but he's actually very in touch with his emotions. I don't know. I think a little bit of both. Sometimes I rest upon the intellect, and sometimes I go with feeling. I haven't mastered either.
But I don't think you'd accept something that your feeling is not accepting, even though it's intellectual.
Yeah, I think that's true. If I'm feeling, my instincts will tell me a lot of the times, no. Even if the intellect is saying it's okay, the feeling is off. But yeah. No, I mean, I think I have done that mistake. Yeah, I have actually.
Or you have?
I think so. I must have.
Do you remember any?
I think sometimes in the choices of people I chose to trust, it has happened. But the feeling was, no, you shouldn't trust this person. But the intellect said no.
On paper, it was correct.
Yeah, on paper, the person felt fine and safe.
I call that voice the voice of God or the divine. When I get a feeling and I'm not able to intellectualize it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is not making sense, but I'm just feeling it's not right.
Can I intellectualize that for you?
Yes, please do.
So do you know that your gut has the second largest amount of nerve cells after your brain?
Yes.
So gut feeling is quite literally your neurons thinking in your stomach. So gut feeling comes from a brain chemistry. It's the second brain.
It's a second brain, yes.
Yeah. So that's the intellectual answer to it.
So this is the intellect and this is the feeling, the gut.
to say that, but then there's a heart as well.
Yes, exactly. So I think it's this.
If you can reach that, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but whenever I've gone with it, it's been the right choice for me,
Hmm.
though I cannot intellectualize it.
Yeah. I tend to intellectualize most things, but I think that's my sort of safety net. Because to not intellectualize would to go into my emotions and feelings, and then would then be to open up a can of worms.
Yeah.
So I intellectualize as a protective mechanism.
That's also important.
I mean, I have to move beyond it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm at that stage where I'm struggling with that.
In psychology, we call it disputations, like lawyers. You dispute the feeling
Okay.
or you dispute too much of intellect
I just be feeling so affected.
and you come in between. Okay, so feelings and love. So love for you is safety. Safety is being yourself. Have you ever felt unsafe in a relationship?
Of course. I've had some bad relationships.
And what did you learn from them? Do you regret them?
No, I mean, if you learn something, then how can you regret it, right? It just meant I had to go through it to come to the conclusion. I just wish I could have come to the conclusion sooner. That's all. Like, why do it take so long? First of all, I have to ask to be quote bitch slapped, if I can say that. Go through a terrible experience or end up sacrificing when I should not have.
Self-abandonment.
Self-abandonment. There's a lot of that, yes. So that I regret not being able to realize sooner. But I never regret because I come to the right conclusions eventually. But then you think of what you've lost in that process of taking time. I wish I'd arrived sooner. But I had to go through what I had to go through.
And how has that shaped your belief on relationships?
That I have more and more faith in them, actually. Not less faith, but more.
I'm so happy to hear that.
I don't believe we have all of us. I first of all don't believe all of us need to have children. That I think is just false. I know many people who should not have children. Actually, in a world of 8 billion people. Then I don't believe that there is the one. There's many potential soulmates. It all depends on time, place, and where you are. And you'll attract the person, who's perfectly suited for you. Now, if you're in a space of conflict, you might attract somebody who's in the same space of conflict. And that is just amplified. So when you find yourself in a safe space, you might attract a partner who's also in a safe space. And then you're able to collaborate together. And then you might also find yourself not being able to be able to assimilate and get into a relationship. Perhaps you're good enough on your own.
Yeah.
It's not impossible. We're just taught that you grow a certain age, you get married, you have children, you do a job, and you give up everything and you die. Yeah. I don't think that's true. They're guidelines.
Yeah.
The generic guidelines, sure. I think most people will do better by partnering with someone, will do better by loving someone. Loving somebody is important. But does that have to always just be a lover, a partner? It could also just be your community. It could be your friends, your family.
So it boils down to your heart feeling full, whatever it takes?
Boils down to feeling safe and secure. Right? If you feel safe, everything else is in place, no? Is it your heart full? You'd have to feel. If you feel safe and secure, wouldn't that be after your heart is full?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Or safety and security could also lead to your heart feeling full.
Semantics.
Correct. I'm just reliving my own experience, trying to do some math here.
I mean, in context of what we were talking about, partnering up and having, a significant other. That's what I meant, safety and security. So, like, if you have safety and security, maybe you come to the conclusion that, okay, I may not have a lover, a husband or a wife, but I have my family, I have my friends, I have my...
Yeah.
Because we're a tribal species. We're not a solo species.
No, we're not.
But the village tribal lifestyle is gone out now. We don't have that anymore. So you don't know that if you go back in human history, I don't even think that, I mean, marriage is a human construct. We go further back in time, there wouldn't be a father figure. Women got pregnant, they would have lived in a community, children were brought up by the female. The first gods weren't male, they were female. Women gave birth. She was a source of life. Men went out, they were good for procreation, they were good for security, they were good for food. We didn't associate love with marriage. And marriage first came out of a necessity for sharing wealth
Right.
and families. It wasn't a common thing.
Also during the war, I think. During the war, I think they got married
Not
to protect the
marriage is
back then.
back in the early days when it came about, it was about families getting together. Not so much about love. Love and marriage came much later on as an association. They were political alliances. So as human society, as natural societies, women would have collectively raised the children. Those women who were probably more gifted at hunting would probably go out with the men. There wouldn't have been set rules as such. What you're capable of, you do. And giving birth and nurturing was natural to the woman. And I don't want the right wing saying that, oh, women should have their kids in the home. No, it is to state that physically men are stronger, so that it was natural for them to go hunt. Women can give birth, men can't. It was natural for them to nurture the child. That didn't mean that women, if you go back to society, I think people were more open to you being able to be natural, and then you were put to your capabilities you were given your job, I suppose. So like Jati came later, for example, Varna, class of people, the priest, an intellectual, the warriors, the leaders, the farmers, the merchants, before Jati, you could be born into a family of merchants, but your gifts might have been to be a priest. Or you could be born as a farmer or a peasant, but you could have been a king. It was fluid because it was on your capabilities. That's Varna, that's just category. But doesn't mean because you're born in it, you have to follow it. Jati came later. Say, oh no, you're born in it, that's it. And then that's how you sort of restrict people. Similarly, in male and female roles.
You also reframed your so-called inherited pathway, right?
As in?
Being born in a family that was so powerful in the space of film. And being exposed to the industry at such a young age and having a so-called set path. I'm not saying you rebelled. I'm saying you you reframed it a bit.
Yeah, but I'm saying
you're still here.
Outing.
Yeah, but you're still here.
Yeah.
You have to fight. How could you not fight? Everybody has to fight at some point for their
beliefs. That's to say, like when you're younger, you can also have that energy, the steam. Life is still ahead of you. And I say that now, and I've said it many times. I was the rebel, but now I'm the diplomat because rebellion got me this far. Now, if it's not taking me any further, then I'm not trying to serve my ego here. I'm trying to, try and expand and have better life experiences and grow. I'm still a filmmaker. I'm still an actor. And I want to keep doing that. So now if rebellion is got me this far, but not going to take me further, then the only people admiring me are the ones who are like, yeah, fight, speak for us. So that doesn't serve many purpose.
No.
If I have to continue to make change and a diplomacy will get through, because my rebellion is offending you, but diplomacy is appealing to you, then it's not about me, right? It's about us. It's about our community.
Yes.
So let me be a diplomat so that we can still continue to engage and let me learn from you what it is that I'm missing.
So we don't
have something to teach me as well. Even if you're on the other end of the creative study.
It takes a lot to share that. It takes a lot to see it. And also to share it and say it openly.
I mean, like I said, I have a lot of freedom now. I may just have rebellions of limitations. I have no limitations anymore. I have nothing to lose.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you rebel, did you feel lonely?
For sure. But then look, as a star also you feel lonely. A lot of them say I was lonely at the top. I'm like, get over yourself. Including my own self. So there is loneliness.
Don't you think that loneliness is a fundamental human experience?
In our current society, yes.
In life.
Yeah, and in the structure that we have for humanity today, yes.
And if we didn't have the structure?
I'm saying go back in time when it was tribal. I don't think we would have loneliness of this nature. You were never alone. You were part of a group, no? You have to put yourself out of this structure that we are used to and go a complete different structure and see. I'm not saying that's an ideal.
Right.
But I'm just saying loneliness Yeah, there would be existential crisis, of course. There would be a sense of discovering who you are, but not loneliness of the kind we have today, which is you could be in a crowded room and still feel alone.
Have you ever felt like that?
Of course. I mean, I don't know, be
I
all.
think I feel it all the time.
You feel it all the time.
The more the crowd, the more lonely I feel.
Yeah.
As the crowd keeps shrinking, I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel so good now.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. So you are an introvert.
I don't know, you know. I feel like I was born an extrovert, became an introvert. Like I was born a left-hander, I was made a right-hander. Fact. I just don't know if I'm introvert or extrovert because I feel both sometimes. Like I don't think an introvert would share as freely as I do.
Yes.
But at the same time, I don't like being in public a lot. So that makes me think I'm an introvert. So I'm a little confused in that sense. But maybe you're just not one thing. You're different things at different times.
Yeah. Depending on where you're at, what life is offering you.
Who you're with.
And who you're with. Who you're with is very important. Yeah. Even I don't think I do well in very, very large spaces with too many people. I'm learning, I'm trying. But
keeping a calm center in any situation, that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be mindful and aware.
Yeah.
Do you feel exposed when there are too many people?
Yeah, I guess. I don't like big crowds. I tend to shy away. If I'm in a big crowd that doesn't know who I am, then I'm fine. When I'm anonymous, I'm great. When I'm known to a crowd, that's when India is a little more difficult. But like when people don't recognize me, I don't get offended. I actually get more comfortable. And when people recognize me also, as long as they're polite, I get happy.
And they give you a space, no?
When people want a picture and they smile and they get happy, then I just focus on the fact that I was able to make this person happy. This is how we live in this world today. If people recognize you and they want to talk to you, that just shows that they're interested in it and they care for you. And you're able to give them something that you don't realize what you've given them, but you've given them something. And that makes me feel happy. And that makes it easier. But that still doesn't mean that when there's a lot of crowd, it doesn't get intimidating. It doesn't get invasive. It does. Because I'm also one human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I feel a lot. So I get a little...
You feel a lot.
Yeah, you feel the rush of people's anticipation, hopes, dreams, expectations. And then you're like, I'm also like, hey, I'm having a bad day today.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to talk right now. But if I don't talk to you, I don't want to break your heart in thinking, oh, I'm rude or I don't represent the things that you imagine that I did. Not for my own ego, but from saying that, I'm having a bad day. So that becomes difficult sometimes.
You also feel a lot because you're connected to yourself.
That could also be, yes.
So you know
that people, like I can feel people's anxieties. Sometimes their excitement is, I can feel a lot of passion in them and I can read that as anxiety sometimes. And it's just like, oh, I can't fulfill you.
And how do you protect yourself from that?
I mean, there's empathy, compassion. It's theirs at the end of the day, not yours. I'll move on. No?
Yeah. There's something called resilient empathy.
Okay.
Where you're able to be resilient to your own empathy towards others.
Oh, yes. That's a new word for me.
Yeah.
They're practicing it without knowing it.
Yes, exactly. You're like, I feel you, I empathize with you, but there's only this much I can do because this is my capacity.
Yeah.
And I'll show up better for you when I'm able to set my own boundary and allow this feeling to pass.
Yeah, because you have to hold your hand and you just become dependent on me.
Yeah, and if my hand is not strong enough to hold yours in that moment, then you're going down with me.
Yeah.
Right? So that's resilient empathy. Well done.
Thank you.
Intuition. Gut. Lovely. How do you cope with this feeling of loneliness? How do you fill that void?
I don't necessarily feel it too much anymore because I'm not like earlier when we were really fighting the system as we were discussing. There was a lot of it where you didn't feel understood by anyone and you felt isolated. But because now I'm not fighting so much, there isn't such a level of loneliness. And because I'm not fighting it, I'm also engaging in other things and other activities to fill in that gap. And then you realize, oh, I can discover so many things. I mean, now the very things that um, held me back became my strength. So technology, which can be invasive, can also be productive.
Right.
Uh, there's this, there's a Dr. Joe Dispenza, if you ever heard of lesson that in the age of information, ignorance is a choice. So I choose not to be ignorant and trying to fill in those spaces with knowledge. And then try and improve on my talents.
Hmm.
You know?
Lovely.
Yeah. And that tends to help you tide over the loneliness. And also, what is this loneliness? Question it.
Hmm.
It might be something that's reaching out to teach you something, tell you something.
It always is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's not loneliness anymore.
It's when the cord with yourself is cut,
Yeah.
that is loneliness.
True. Nicely put.
And if that cord is not connected, then nobody can ever fill the void.
Yeah, for sure.
And the cord with yourself is never fully connected. It's always growing, evolving. Our old conditioning, our old beliefs, our old thought processes come and say, oh, cut, slip. You're like, oh, okay, let me stitch it back now. I'm connected. And then some other belief will come into cut. And you're like, oh, I feel lonely. And then you're stitching it back. It's
It's a process.
one hell of a process.
Yeah.
So this show is about cancelled to crowned. The whole aim is to tell people that no matter what your experience is, you will never ever reach a dead end. There's always a way out.
Yeah.
Do you have an experience where you have hit rock bottom, felt there's a dead end, and made your way back out? So the crowning is not an externalized taj on your head. Your crowning is an internalized feeling of victory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever hit rock bottom and made your way out?
Yeah.
Can you share anything personal that you're comfortable with?
I'm never comfortable sharing personal stuff.
Okay.
I don't like sharing personal stuff because a lot of my stuff is, I'm in the film industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of my experiences are with the film industry. And so when I talk about personal experiences, it becomes highly public.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it could be misconstrued as complaining, bitterness,
Absolutely.
or just not getting over things. So I don't like being specific.
Okay.
That's why I'm more general
Okay.
to say that we all will go through, whether you're a star kid, nepo kid, whether you're an outsider, each one of us is going to go through something.
Hmm.
And that's all part of our journey. When I spoke of my passion of changing the narrative, choosing to challenge how we tell stories, trying to explore my culture in different perspectives was my way of describing.
Yeah.
Those were very isolating, lonely moments.
Hmm.
I don't have to say what specifically happened with whom
No,
and how I was gaslit or.
no, we don't even. And that this is a safe space. We don't.
It isolated me a lot. It did.
So that felt like a moment of cancellation for you.
Yeah. Yeah. But I wouldn't put it as cancellation because there was no one specific thing I did. There were many things I did. Publicly sort of calling out certain people for certain practices, exploitation. I don't need to go into details of that. It's all in public domain.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those things don't help. People respect you, but they realize that it's difficult to work with you because XYZ person won't like you because you called XYZ person out. You know what I mean? And they want to keep the peace. So it's an industry which, as they say, they're no friends, they're no enemies. People like to just keep things calm. Everyone's kind of finding their own feet. And earlier, I used to think that's a cowardly thing to do. Today, I'm like, no, it's fine. People trying to find their balance.
Yeah.
And it's their prerogative to find it in their own way. Not everybody has to fight for the rights of those who are,
Yeah.
not given opportunity. And if they want to play safe, it's their life journey. If you end up living a life where you're neither a friend nor an enemy, to be very honest, you live a half-lived life anyways.
Absolutely.
And that's a tragedy that's going to hit you later on.
It is.
So I don't need to judge you. But I don't need to be part of that. And so those kinds of experiences make me speak the way I do today. But the industry continues on in that manner. And I'm not anyone to judge. Today, I'm like, hell yeah, bring it on. What brand do you want? What do I need to do? Because I need to strike a balance.
Yeah.
I can't be fully like, oh, capitalism is bad. But at the same time, I can't be fully like, oh, it's all capitalism.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's somewhere in between I need to find. And I've rebelled. I've called out powers that be. I've spoken truth to power in the past. I don't need to do that and anything to prove anymore. Now I just want to get down to work and try and change it for those who are not as privileged or who are not as expressed or given chances to be able to. And I can only do that if I engage the powers that be.
Yes.
I'm still in a position where the powers will engage me.
Yes.
They still respect me. It's not like they don't see where I came from. They do. So maybe my collaboration, let somebody else, now someone else has to take a rebellion. I'm in my 40s now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now the younger lot have to rebel. Those in their 20s and 30s. It's their turn to. That's the age you can do because there's more to gain and less to lose. And as you grow older, there's more to lose and less to gain through rebellion.
Also, rebellion doesn't have to be done through aggression.
That's a diplomacy.
Yeah. So are you saying that the crown lies in diplomacy?
I'm saying the crown lies in where you are in your life, at what age you are, and what situation you're in. So like I said, when I was younger, rebellion served me well.
Yeah.
So the crown was in rebellion.
And the pathway to crowning is introspection.
In becoming authentic self. And introspection could lead to that.
Yes.
But it's going back to authenticity.
Authenticity is everything.
That's the problem.
According to me, in my opinion. I think if you're not authentic, the only person you're abandoning is yourself.
Of course.
And if you're abandoning yourself, you can't be true to anyone on this planet.
Yeah. True.
Lovely. When I get into my writing zone, my outer persona drops. My hair's up in a bun and I'm in boxers, oversized t-shirts and in slippers. And I look extremely unkempt. And that's a side of me that no one really gets to see.
Mm-hmm.
I keep her under wraps.
Yeah.
But she's the one who can write.
Yeah. The messy one.
The messy one. The fully authentic one.
Yeah.
This is also authentic. It's a version of me.
Yeah.
She's a different version.
Right. Let's just call it that. The messy one writes.
She can talk.
She can talk, that one writes.
That one writes.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I'm very protective of her.
Yeah.
Okay? She's vulnerable.
Yeah.
Do you have a side in you that's hidden that only belongs to you?
I'm sure. Yeah. You don't want to give everything away. I don't think that's a side that's hidden. I think you, as an individual, you don't have to give it all away.
Yeah.
The world is not entitled to every thought, every moment, every desire that you have. That's for yours to keep and for yours to explore.
Yeah.
And it's in your right to understand, filter, and then present.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're hiding anything. I want to show up looking well-dressed, so I want to show up looking well-dressed. I don't want to show up looking unkept. I don't want to show up looking unkept.
Absolutely.
What's wrong in that? For example.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we all have that.
And how do you feel when you connect to him?
When I connect them?
To him, that side of you that's, your own private side.
I never disconnect with him. He's always there.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's always there. This comes and goes.
Correct.
I don't have makeup all the time, right?
Correct.
In fact, I'll go connect to the un-makeup side. Let's call it makeup and non-makeup side.
Correct.
Correct. So the non-makeup side is what's always there.
Yeah.
The makeup side presents itself and then goes.
And that's the side that keeps you authentic, keeps you real.
Yeah,
grounded.
because he's always there. He's never gone. Yeah. So I'm still speaking from that perspective, but I'm filtering because not everything needs to be expressed.
Yeah.
But you're still expressing from a space of authenticity.
If you look back at young Abhay today, what is he saying to you? How do you feel when you see him?
The
boy.
Yeah.
Extrovert.
Pretty messed up. Confused.
Confused.
Yeah. Yeah. Bombarded with so much information. with such an expansive space, such a big world, and grappling to understand it and not having that guidance.
And what is he saying to you?
Help. No, what do you think? That's, I don't know. I would go back to what we said, that all our traumas come from our childhood. And so when you work through your traumas, you're obviously going back to a time in life where it was perhaps implanted. And then you have to let go of that and forgive whoever, whatever created the trauma in its space.
Yeah.
So it's just that as far as the younger me is concerned.
And that's freedom.
Yeah.
And if you had to say something to him today, what would you say? How would you anchor him?
It'll all work out in the end. I'm happy where I am now.
Yeah. So it has worked out.
So it'll all work out in the end.
And if you had to anchor the audience through an Abhay anchor, and you had to say something to them if they're feeling stuck or they're feeling not connected with their own individuality, what would you say to them?
I would say that it's all part of the process. That life would be boring if you didn't have any challenges. And what you have to avoid is harming others and harming yourself. That's the only thing I do not condone, is violence of any sort. So if you're in a situation where you could potentially be harmed or do harm, I would say get out of there right now, because that's danger. Anything else is all something we all experience at some level. Not all of us are vulnerable enough to face violence.
Yeah.
Or we be violent towards others. So if you're in that, that's a unique situation to be in. And that's where the real danger lies. But as long as there's no violence towards you or towards others, it's workable.
Everything is workable.
Everything is workable. Violence is the only thing you have to run away from. Like, get out of it. Whether it's you upon others, others upon you.
So don't run away from yourself.
Yeah.
The only thing to run away from is violence.
Just ask yourself, whatever it is that you're going through, am I safe? And if you're not safe, then start to address the danger that you are in. When you're out of the danger, then start addressing the other things that you may be dealing with. Now, if you ask yourself, am I in danger? And you're not. Also, what do you mean by danger? That is then the next question to ask. So right now, the basic generic form I mean is physical harm. So if there's no physical harm, then okay, then there's mental harm.
Yeah.
Which
is also abuse.
Of course. Yeah. So if you can rule that out, that because it's like, okay, because the mental harm could be your own doing.
Yeah.
Physical, you're not going to beat yourself physically, but you could be mentally abusive towards yourself. Where is that coming from? It's usually coming from someone else, from the outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to start questioning and digging and then trying to uncover. Like I said also, like if you've been traumatized by your parents, you can choose to be angry with them and you're in your right to do so. You can hate on them, you're in your right to do so. But then when you ask, okay, where did their traumas come from? You realize perhaps their parents did to them what they did to you. So then suddenly you're like, okay, can now be in a space where I can forgive them. When you forgive your abuser, that's a huge freedom in that.
Yes.
When you can forgive your abuser. Again, that takes process.
It's a long drawn process, but a very, very freeing process. It's liberating.
It is.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I'm taking back from you today. From the little boy you were up until now, I'm taking back why.
Why?
Why? I'm going to start asking a lot more whys.
Like a little boy of me, it's always why.
You're still asking why. You're saying, ask why. Why am I feeling in danger? Introspect. So why is coming back with me?
Well, that's good. I'm glad that's what was. I'd forgotten that. I mean, you brought it out with me today.
Yeah, and it's so lovely to be curious and introspect and understand the deeper meaning, feeling, thought, belief behind everything that's happening in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that strengthens our internal locus of control. We hand over our power to everyone.
Yeah.
Seek validation and approval and try to show up in forms that are accepted.
I mean, it's still fall traps. I'm not perfect anywhere. I'm not striving for perfection. I do still find myself looking for validation outside. I do still find myself sometimes insecure, unsafe. I do find myself betraying others or being betrayed.
Yeah.
That still happens. Like you were saying, people say, oh, how can you get angry being in the position that you are? Doesn't mean we're not human. What I speak doesn't mean it's untrue. I've lived through these truths. That's why they've come to me. But that doesn't mean I always live those truths when I'm sometimes put in a position. So don't take perfection from this. There's no perfection here.
No, there's never perfection.
And like I said earlier, I still find myself catching up to it. I don't have regrets for making the mistakes I made. I have regrets of catching on much later as to what I could have done in the moment. And I don't want to repeat those mistakes.
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
For sharing so much with us.
Thank you for having me.
All of it unfiltered.
Unfiltered.
Truly appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So we have a ritual. We are big believers in self-love.
Okay.
And that is a big crown to own, self-love.
Yeah.
And we have this card, which encourages you to do an act of self-love and then pass it on to the next person and encourage them to do an act of self-love.
Right.
And create a chain of loving yourself.
So how do you give this to someone?
You pass it on to them.
But what do you have to do to pass it on?
Do something.
For yourself.
For yourself.
And then...
And give it to the next person.
Okay. I'm always doing stuff for myself, so this will be gone in a minute.
Lovely. I love it. I love it. That's how it should be.
Okay.
Oh, I don't need this, but I'll pass it on.
Okay, great. Oh, well, thank you. It's a wonderful thing, actually.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
We're making change.
As are you.
No, thank you.
And this is a little something for you. It's a gesture of gratitude and our way of crowning you for everything you are and everything you've achieved.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.